around like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who've worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Stephen A. Smith blasted Jake Paul for agreeing to fight Gervonta Davis, saying Jake is simply too big for him. He explained that Jake keeps picking opponents who don't truly test his skills, calling this matchup one-sided and uncompetitive. According to Smith, Jake avoids fighters who are on his level, exposing how his boxing career seems focused more on easy wins than real challenges.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion, and no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. No. We know he's got power.
Yeah. Stephen A. Smith asked Gervonta Davis's coach which opponents he believes deserve to share the ring with Tank next. The coach didn't hesitate. He made it clear that anyone who has spoken negatively about Davis should be the first to step up. Names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez were mentioned as fighters who have publicly questioned Tank's ability. For the coach, this isn't just about rivalry, it's about respect. He believes these men need to experience firsthand what Tank's power truly feels like. The goal isn't revenge for their words, but to silence the critics who keep doubting Davis's dominance. From his perspective, it's time the talkers get humbled inside the ropes and feel the reality of Tank's skill set.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we're working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Comedian and commentator Ari Spears didn't mince words when sharing his thoughts on the event. To him, the upcoming fight feels more like a performance than a true sporting contest. Despite calling it a circus, Spears still puts his confidence in Davis's strength and precision. He envisions Tank ending the spectacle early, predicting a knockout by the third round. What stands out is the balance between his criticism and admiration. He acknowledges the promotional absurdity surrounding the bout but respects Tank's ruthless efficiency as a finisher. Spears' view captures the sentiment of many fans who see this matchup as both ridiculous and captivating, entertainment wrapped in skill, where even critics can't deny the possibility of Davis closing the show with a brutal statement before the fight goes too far.
The next fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fight.
I'm predicting a third round knockout.
Ooh. Third round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke, that fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah, and I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's like 37 years old. I personally don't think.
But he's still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he's still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And like he had only had like 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. But this whole like Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing, just like, because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. It was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. Like, you know, they're going to start putting like old men. I mean, they've already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A. Smith, known for his outspoken nature, wants to see boxing move beyond the spectacle-driven trend. He believes Gervonta Davis should focus on meaningful matchups that truly test his limits rather than exhibition-style fights that do little for his legacy. Smith specifically expressed interest in seeing Tank rematch Ryan Garcia, a fighter with whom he still has unfinished business. He also mentioned Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as ideal contenders, opponents who could push Davis both mentally and physically. Smith's point is simple: fans deserve fights that matter. These are the kinds of bouts that define champions and restore the sport's competitive spirit. He doesn't want to see Davis's talent wasted on non-serious events, but showcased against legitimate challengers who can sharpen his greatness.
To me personally, I want to see him fight a Garcia again. I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit bulked up.
A growing number of boxing commentators are losing patience with Jake Paul's approach to his career. They argue that his recent fight announcements follow the same predictable pattern, choosing unusual opponents who generate attention rather than genuine competition. Many experts believe these matchups are crafted more for headlines and viral moments than for building Paul's credibility in the ring. They point out that he often avoids fighters who are evenly matched in experience, weight, or technical skill. While his events draw massive audiences, critics claim the entertainment value comes at the expense of authenticity. The spectacle overshadows the sport, and the storylines feel scripted instead of organic. For purists, this is why Paul continues to be viewed more as a showman than a legitimate professional contender.
Performance. Jake Paul won the fight. But yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire, as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul, was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion.
There's a growing belief that Gervonta Davis's decisions are being driven more by profit than prestige. Analysts suggest his team is prioritizing financially massive bouts over fights that would strengthen his championship legacy. The planned matchup with Jake Paul reinforces that perception. For many, it's proof that boxing has evolved into an entertainment business first and a sport second. Tank's reputation for explosive knockouts guarantees big pay-per-view numbers, and pairing him with a YouTube celebrity only amplifies that financial appeal. However, traditionalists see this as a troubling trend. They fear fighters now value revenue potential more than competitive merit. While Davis's talent is undeniable, his recent choices suggest that legacy may no longer be his top priority, money is.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another $40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Rowe for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40-50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Jeff Mayweather, a respected voice in the boxing world, has openly questioned the logic behind this matchup. His main concern centers on the glaring size and weight disparity between the two fighters. He explains that boxing's division system exists specifically to prevent such imbalances from putting athletes at risk. In this case, Jake Paul's naturally larger frame gives him a physical advantage that can't be ignored. Jeff believes that even with Davis's superior skill set, the differences in reach, mass, and strength make the fight unfairly tilted. He describes the bout as a mismatch that could damage the sport's credibility. For him, this isn't just a contest between two individuals, it's a test of how far boxing promoters are willing to bend the rules for financial spectacle.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Carl Froch, known for his fearless honesty, didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on Jake Paul's decision-making. He accused Jake of deliberately choosing smaller fighters to maintain a physical advantage. Froch found it absurd that Jake bypassed chances to face naturally bigger opponents like Anthony Joshua or legitimate heavyweights, instead targeting someone like Davis, who competes several divisions below. For Froch, the move exposes the true motivations behind Jake's career, creating viral mismatches rather than pursuing real challenges. His statement echoes the frustration of many boxing veterans who feel the sport's traditions are being undermined by celebrity-driven showdowns. Froch's bluntness highlights a deeper concern that modern boxing may be sacrificing integrity for clicks and cash.
Supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Daniel Cormier, a respected voice across combat sports, expressed strong disapproval of the upcoming fight. He argued that the bout offers little in terms of genuine competition and instead promises a predictable outcome. Cormier emphasized that Jake Paul's size advantage overshadows any real intrigue, making it hard for fans to take the fight seriously. He explained that the weight difference isn't just physical, it impacts stamina, power absorption, and overall safety. In his view, the event may attract curiosity, but it lacks true sporting value. Cormier also warned that the ongoing obsession with spectacle over substance risks damaging boxing's integrity. His remarks capture a broader frustration among athletes who feel the sport's proud traditions are being replaced by shallow publicity stunts.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
he's been a world
taking this
champion
fight.
so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Sulaiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
Observers have noted that while many criticize the fight for being meaningless, it still serves multiple agendas within the boxing business. Promoters, media networks, and even rival fighters benefit from the buzz such a controversial event creates. The debate itself drives attention, generating financial momentum for everyone involved. Ironically, the same commentators who condemn the fight also amplify its reach by discussing it endlessly. This contradiction reveals how modern boxing thrives on controversy as much as competition. Every critique becomes free promotion, and every insult translates into ticket sales. The irony is that what fans label a mockery is exactly what keeps the industry profitable and relevant.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
The broader discussion surrounding this fight isn't just about who wins, it's about what it represents. Many believe it highlights the blurred line between entertainment and athletic integrity. Jake Paul's rise has shown that popularity can outweigh pedigree, while Gervonta Davis's participation proves that even elite boxers aren't immune to chasing spectacle. Critics argue that such events dilute the sport's essence, turning it into a stage for novelty rather than genuine competition. Supporters, however, see it as an evolution, a way to keep boxing relevant in a social media-driven era. Either way, the matchup forces the sport to confront its identity crisis. Is boxing still about proving superiority through discipline and skill, or has it become a business where fame determines who fights whom?
£95. Bearing in mind, Tank Davis fights at 135. That's £60 size difference. And Tank often weighs in light at 133.5 pounds. You know, he's 5'5". He's not a big guy. Okay, let's be honest, he's tiny. I could literally put him in my pocket. You know, he's a pocket rocket, but he's small. Yes, I know, I went too far. Let's move on. Jake's been fighting a cruiserweight, over 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'1". He's just a bigger guy, you know, a different beast. This is what Jake does. Love or hate him, he knows how to generate interest, get people talking. In his words, do the unthinkable. But guess what? People will tune in. What can I say? The guy's clever. He calls out AJ. The fight's looking likely. Everybody's outraged. Can't believe it. Then bang, he's fighting Tank. The man's half the size. He's done it again. Whether you like it or not, he's a marketing genius. He knows how to keep his name on your tongue. Everyone slated him for fighting Mike Tyson. I did too. He was fighting an old man with health problems. But guess what? I tuned in. And do you know why? Because curiosity killed the cat. And I wasn't alone. 100 million plus people tuned in.